Good morning all of you. My name is Vipin and I am going to be your new maths tutor. So our subjects would be mathematics. So do you have an idea about which are the chapters that you have in the 6th standard? So your first chapter is knowing our numbers. Knowing our numbers. You already have an idea about numbers or the number system. So in this chapter we would be having little more information about the numbers. So let us begin. The mathematics, it is a branch of science, and the importance of mathematics is its accuracy. The key feature of mathematics is its accuracy. There are situations in our daily life where the things or the problems have to be solved with maximum accuracy. And for those situations, we suggest the branch of science called mathematics. And how shall we attain accuracy in those situations using mathematics? So, in mathematics, there are different processes that can be done so that our problems will be solved with maximum accuracy. And such processes include the processes like counting, the processes like measuring, etc. So these are the fundamental processes, basic processes that are done in mathematics. Counting, you have already learned how to count, and you know the process measuring. You have already familiar with meter scale or centimeter scale. What is the purpose of a scale? A scale is used to measure. Measure what? Measure the length of objects. So that on measuring, you can have an accurate value of the length of something. Clear? That accuracy is the importance of mathematics. By mathematics, we can attain accuracy. And for that, the processes involved are counting, measuring, etc. And while doing these processes, suppose I will be giving you an example. There are 3 rods, 3 metallic rods. You can draw like this. There are 3 metallic rods. And you should have to compare the length of all these rods exactly. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. How can you compare the length of all these? You can compare the length of all these by using the process called measuring. For that, first of all, we should be having a scale, and using those scale, you would be measuring the length of the first rod, then the second one, thereafter the length of the third one, and you would be getting some values on that. And by using those values, you can compare the length of these. What would be the result? The result would be the smallest would be the third one, and thereafter the first one, and finally the second one. This would be the order of their length. The smallest would be the third one, and the second one would be, which one would be second? The second one would be the first one, and finally the second one. So this order is obtained by the larger or smaller by that. But what would you do if you have to inform this, or if you have to transfer this information to some other one? What should you do? You can draw those lines in the order, but it will be practically difficult. It cannot be possible at all situations. So, for convenience, for easiness, the measured length or the measured data or our countings can be labeled or represented or recorded by a number system. So here we comes with the number system. What is the purpose of a number system? Usually a number system is used to record or label the data as a result of counting or measurements, etc. Clear? So the number system is our next topic. On considering a number system, the basis of a number system is numbers and numerals. So the base of a number system is numbers and numerals. Clear? So what are numbers? Numbers are basically some ideas. Numbers are basically some ideas. And what are numerals? Numerals are symbols. Numerals are symbols. And those symbols are used to represent those numbers. So numbers are ideas and numerals are symbols. And the purpose of these symbols is we can use those symbols to represent those numbers. Clear? So these are about the base of number system. And in all over the world, there are different types of number system used. By their convenience for the situations, there are different types of number system used. And out of that, the one system that we have familiar with is the decimal system. So we have already discussed, or we have already familiar with the decimal system. And this decimal system is otherwise called base 10 system. This decimal system is otherwise called base 10 system. So what is a decimal system? A decimal system is basically a number system. And do you know why it is called decimal system or base 10 system? Because in this base 10 system, we use 10 symbols. We use 10 symbols for what? For constructing all the numbers. So in decimal system, we have only 10 symbols. But using those 10 symbols, we can have any kind of numbers. We can construct any kind of numbers. That is the regularity or speciality of decimal systems. So, do you have an idea about which are those 10 symbols? Yes, those 10 symbols are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What would be the next? Is it 10? No, it would not be 10. It would be 0. These are the 10 symbols that are used to construct all the type of numbers in decimal system. In decimal system, there are different types of symbols are together called digits. They are called digits. So digits are 10 symbols that are used to construct the decimal system. The decimal system is constructed by these 10 digits, 10 symbols. Clear? I hope all of you clear. So now you can check how the numbers are constructed by using these symbols. Suppose we have a number 100. How can you represent the number 100? Just like this. So this is 100. And it can be represented by like this. There is a digit 1. Thereafter the digit 0. Again the digit 0. 1, 0, 0. So the 1, 0 and the next 0, everyone are digits. And those digits are arranged so that a number called the 100 is obtained. So usually we use digits to represent numbers. 100 is a number, and we can represent the number 100 by the numeral like this, in which there are 3 digits used. And those digits can be either repeated or can be arranged in different manner. This is how a decimal system is constructed. Clear? So what we have discussed is there is a number system called the decimal system, in which there are different types of numbers, and all those numbers are constructed by 10 symbols, and those 10 symbols are called digits. Which one are those? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and finally 9. These digits are repeatedly used, or they are arranged in different manners so that different types of numbers can be formed in decimal system. Why it is called decimal system? It is called decimal system because it uses how many digits or symbols? It uses 10 symbols. The word deci means 10. So using 10 symbols, that's why the name decimal system. Is that clear? I hope all of you clear. So we are going to the next topics. So I have already told you that in decimal system there are different types of numbers. So we are studying the different groups of or different types of numbers that are in decimal system one by one. And out of that, the first type of system or the first type of numbers in decimal system is natural numbers. It is natural numbers. So we are going to discuss about natural. These natural numbers are otherwise called counting numbers. These natural numbers are otherwise called counting numbers. From the name itself, we can be clear that the name counting numbers means those numbers are initially introduced for the purpose of counting. So the purpose of counting is done by natural numbers or counting numbers. So let's take an example and study how we can count things, how we can count different things by using natural numbers or counting numbers. For that, suppose there is your grandfather and your grandfather told you that there are few coconuts on the yard. You should have to give a count of them. what should you do? You go to the yard, and then next you pick up the coconuts one by one. And at first, on your first pick, you say 1. And for the next, you say 2. For the next, you say 3. And so on. You will be going like that. That is what from this. So this is what is just counting numbers. The numbers that are just used for counting. Where should it started? It started from the first pick on 1. So 1 is the first natural number. Thereafter, the next pick you say 2. Thereafter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. Where should it started? It started at 1. And what is the peculiarity of this number 1? This number 1 is the smallest natural number. Then which would be the greatest natural number or the largest one? Can you say? 100, 10, 1000, 10,000. So it can be clear that there is no such a largest natural number, because for to be largest there must be a termination, there must be an ending. And in the case of natural numbers, they have a starting but they do not have an ending, they do not terminate. So that we can say that there is no such a largest natural number, because they are not terminating, they do not have an end. Clear? So that's all about the basics of natural numbers. And now we are going to discuss about the next type of numbers. In decimal system, there is another type of numbers. It is called whole numbers. It is called whole numbers. So let's discuss about the features or the specialties of whole numbers. For that, again go to the example given before. The grandfather. This time, grandfather again telling you that go and count the number of coconuts on that yard. And you are going to the yard. And when you reach us, you found that there is nothing. The yard is empty. There were no coconuts. What shall you do? You have to give a count to the grandfather. And now the condition is empty. There is no coconuts. Or the condition is empty, or there is nothing. And this condition, empty or nothing, can be expressed in mathematics by a number. And that number is called 0. So what is 0? 0 is a number. And what is the purpose of this number? This number is used to express the condition empty or nothing. If there is nothing, then you can count it as 0. 0 is a number. So usually we have studied that for all the numbers there is a symbol, and that symbol is called numeral. For the number 1, it is number 1. What is its numeral? Its numeral is just like this. Symbol is just like this. For the number 2, the symbol is just like this. Similarly, our number 0 has also a symbol and it is like this. So, we can include this number 0 also to the numbers we are already familiar with. We are already familiar with the natural numbers and they start from 1 and they extends us 2, 3, 4, etc. Now, these set of numbers were said to be natural numbers. And now we are adding one more number and it is less than this 1 and it is 0, the number 0 and its numeral is like this. So that this is another set of numbers. Because in natural numbers we do not consider 0. If we considered 0 with the natural number, we have to name it as another group. And that is what is called odd numbers. So basically, odd numbers are numbers including 0 and the rest of the natural numbers. Natural numbers included with 0 is called odd numbers. So that's all about odd numbers and natural numbers. So we can represent these odd numbers as well as the natural numbers on a line. So on a line we can represent the numbers. The line that is used to represent the numbers is said to be a number line. Now we are going to represent the odd numbers as well as the natural numbers on a number line. A number line is simply a line that can be used to represent the numbers. So, to draw a number line, first of all, we should have to draw a straight line. And the one end of this straight line, this point is making I am 0. I am making this point as 0. And now we have to consider a unit distance, a fixed distance. Here I am considering the fixed distance as 1 centimeter. So that you have to use your scale and put marks after every 1 centimeters starting from this point 0. So that there would be a lot of points marked on this line. And the first marking after 0 can be marked as 1. The next would be 2. The next would be 3. Next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, etc. And where should it end? You have already studied that these numbers does not have an end. So that we can put an arrow mark at the right end of the line. And this arrow mark indicates, or this arrow mark means that these numbers do not end at anywhere. They are extending up to infinity. Clear? So this is how the numbers can be represented. The natural numbers as well as the all numbers can be represented on the number line. If you are asked to mark only the natural numbers, then you can cut the portion of 0, so that this would be the number line that is marking the natural numbers. And if we need to mark all numbers, we don't want to draw another one. Only a small change is to be done. You have to add one more number to this set. Which one is that? It is 0. And that 0 is less than 1. And because of that, it must be marked on the left of 1. The numbers on the left would be smaller. And as we move towards right, the value of the number is increasing. This is the property or speciality of number line. So we can draw a 1 centimeter length towards left from 1, and this end can be marked as 0. And including this 0, if we consider the number line, then it would be representing which numbers? It would be representing all numbers. So these are all about all numbers. So the difference between the all numbers and the natural numbers can be clear from this simple picture, from this number line. A natural number starts from 1. And it does not have an end. It can be indicated by this arrow mark. And a whole number, it starts from 0. It is the smallest whole number. And it extends up to infinity. It also do not terminate. It also do not have an end. Clear? So that's all about the basics of natural numbers and whole numbers. Now let us conclude, let us revise the topics that we have discussed. So as a revision, we can say the topics that we have discussed one by one. First of all, we started with mathematics. The importance of mathematics is in its accuracy. And in mathematics, to attain accuracy, we do different processes like counting or measuring, etc. And those counted or measured values can be represented by using certain symbols. Clear? And for that, for labeling or recording our countings and measurings, we use a number system. And there are a lot of different types of number system that are existing all over the world. And out of that, the one number system that you have familiar with or you want to be familiar with is the decimal system. And in decimal system, it is otherwise called base 10 system. Because, why it is called base 10 system? Because in a decimal system or base 10 system, there are 10 symbols which are called digits. And those digits are used to construct all the type of numbers in decimal system. And which are those 10 digits? It starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all. The 10 symbols, they are called digits. And they are arranged in different manner to obtain different type of numbers. So there are different types of numbers, and every numbers can be represented by symbols called numerals. So numbers are just the idea, whereas numerals are the symbols. For example, 1 is a number and its symbol is, or its numeral is just like this. Clear? So that's all about numbers and numerals. Then we discussed about different types of numbers in decimal system. Then we discussed about different types of numbers in decimal system. And which are the different types of numbers in decimal system? First, the natural numbers. The second one is the all numbers. The natural number is starting from 1 and it is extending up to infinity. The smallest whole number is 0 and is also extending up to infinity. So these are the basis of number system. So our first topic, numbers and numerals, is over. And I should want to give you some questions related these topics. So you should have to write it down and answer them. My first question is, which is the smallest natural number? The second one, which is the smallest whole number? The third one, is there a largest whole number? Is there a largest whole number? The fourth one, is it true? Is it true? The fourth one, you should have to state whether it is true or false. And the statement is, every whole numbers are natural numbers. This is the statement, and you should have to state whether the statement is true or false. And your final question is, find out the difference. Find out the difference between the smallest whole number, the smallest whole number, and the smallest natural number. You should have to find the difference between the smallest whole number and the smallest natural number. So these are the 5 questions you have to be answered. And out of this, if you are answered the first one, then you are good. If you can answer the second one, you are superb. And it is possible to answer the third one, then you are extraordinary. And if you answer the fourth one, you would be wonderful. And finally, if you are able to answer all of the 5 questions correct, then you are excellent. Then you are excellent. And I need all of you to be excel, or all of you to be excellent. And I hope all of you should answer these questions. This can be easily answered by concentrating into our topics that are discussed today. If you have any confusions, repeat the videos again and again. Watch it again and again so that it would be clear. Or further, you should if you have any doubts, you can clear it in the doubt discussion section.